So what role should the city play in fixing Duluth's aging infrastructure, and how do you think it could be funded?
Well, first of all, I think Don Ness has been doing a pretty good job at addressing that issue by using the Community Investment Trust Fund towards city infrastructure improvements. There's a lot of other areas that I think they should have looked at first before they started all these other projects and these other areas like out east, especially like 24th Avenue East over is just terrible. I mean, these homeowners are paying a large property tax and they don't even have a decent road to drive on. I think that's unfair. So yeah, the roads do reflect the city of Duluth, and something needs to be done with the roads. Thanks.
Yeah, I have to say that's a top priority for our city government, is to ensure that our infrastructure and our roads are in tip-top shape. When I first moved here and I was looking for a house and I'm driving along the roads, I thought, oh, you guys must have harsh winters up here to have such rotten roads. And then I realized that in this community, we actually have a fund that is supposed to go to fix those roads, and I've learned that quite often that fund is used for other projects. So I'd like to see that fund, the Community Reinvestment Fund, used to fix more roads. Now I understand we're going to fix about 18 miles of city streets with Mayor Ness's plan, and I hope that we can do a heck of a lot more for that. It's, to be honest, we have tourists coming to town, and if you want to attract businesses here as well or grow our own, we have to have a good sound infrastructure. So that is a top priority, and we need to make it a top financial priority for the city.
If you haven't heard about it or not, last year we only fixed a mile of streets in the entire city. This year we're going to get over 18 miles of city streets done in the city of Duluth. To me, that is fantastic. In the next 5 years, we'll get over 100 miles of streets done. And I'll tell you right now that if I'm elected city councilor, I will continue to approve that plan every year that it comes forward, because it is something that we need to fix. Now, besides the roads, we also have other problems in our infrastructure, our I&I problem. We need to address it. We need to fix the runoff that is going into Lake Superior. And trust me, you'll have me as a supporter to try to fix that problem as quickly as we can, and to fix the root of the problem, which is actually the lateral lines between our house and the main sewer line. We have to continue the work that's being done on that and move as fast as we can before we have more leakage into the lake. Thank you.
So people have already talked about the streets. That is issue number one in talking with people in neighborhoods. People are really concerned about it, as am I. The mayor has put forth some good plans for how to move forward on improving our infrastructure, and puts forth some priorities, starting with streets, drawing in some Recovery Act money to look at how we can fix our streets and other pieces of infrastructure. And I think that's what we need to do, is we need to continue to be creative. We need to look at opportunities that come before us and make sure that that money comes here and not miss those. And that is in the role of the city council, I think, to be aware of what's happening outside of the city and to be able to bring some opportunities for that funding to come. We're basically paying for a period of time where infrastructure was let go for a long period of time and it wasn't funded. And now we're seeing the results of it. And so the answers aren't going to be quick. It's not going to happen next year or the year after. It's going to take careful planning and prioritizing it over years. And I think as long as we stay a steady course, that we'll see great improvement in, say, 4 or 5 years.
Well, obviously, this is a tough question. One of the things that I think is important, though, is that we use some common sense when we tear up our streets to plan ahead for the infrastructure underneath, the utilities that run underneath. This council found out that that whole Lakeside project, because the utilities underneath were 75 years old, which was not the cutoff, apparently, for doing the utilities. They dug everything up and found out that they could poke their fingers through the the storm sewer and the sanitary sewer. And so it cost you taxpayers quite a bit more because they weren't prepared to do that particular thing. There are some other options, though. There's municipal state aid, MSA money that historically the city has chosen to spend on things other than infrastructure, which they can in some cases. There's also turnback dollars, which the city has chosen to spend on other things. So it's really a matter of prioritization. I think it's important that you as community folks let councilors know that, hey, streets are this important to you, and the money's there.
Trudging up and down the streets of Duluth over the last 5 months, I've come up with the conclusion that we have to be one of the more high-maintenance cities in the nation. We live on a ski slope, and we have 6 feet of frost, and we're 26 miles wide. So with that, I'm going to promise that it needs to be re-upped every year, I believe, that I'm with Mayor Ness on the 5-year, 100-mile plan. The other big issue is the lateral line. It really saddens me that it almost took the federal government to shut us down as a city for us to start fixing this problem. Lake Superior is our biggest asset, brings in the most money when it comes to tourism. We need to protect that. And that means also in the future being more proactive, looking where our infrastructure is going to be in the next 10 years and start acting on that.